YouTube once, so you can watch the recording if you miss out on any point. And I'm sure this will be a valuable session for all of you. So yes, you can put all the questions in the Web3 Masterclass thread. All right. Yes, we are live now. And Harsh, the stage is
Yeah.
yours. A bit about Harsh. Harsh is coming in from blockchain, and he will be answering questions. If you have any on Web3, he will be getting you guys to a basic understanding of blockchain. And over to you, Harsh. All the stage is yours.
Yeah. So, hi, fellows. My name is Harsh Kodko. A little introduction about myself. I'm currently in my final year of graduation. So, I'll be graduating within a couple months. And yeah, I've been in blockchain development since a year now. So, I was one of the 51 students who were in Summer of Bitcoin, which is an event similar to Google Summer of Code, where uh, but instead of open source, you get to work on Bitcoin core. So yeah, like I started my development journey by working on Bitcoin core repositories, and then I later moved on to study different other blockchains. And currently, I am also fellow at Solana Labs. So yeah, that's the introduction for me, and I'm working on blocktrain, which is trying to be a bridge for getting more people to Web3. So like we create content and we do a lot of in-house products where people can understand blockchain much more easily. Yeah. So a little intro about blockchain. I'll just I just want to make sure that everyone who is listening to this has a basic idea about how blockchain works and like why is it such a huge topic as of now. Like everywhere you go on Twitter, on YouTube, you can see these things. You can see a lot of monkeys, a lot of JPEG images getting sold for millions of dollars and whatnot. So yeah, and whatever I'm talking about, if you have any questions regarding that, you can simply put it in the thread which are now created, and I'll make sure those questions are answered. Okay. So a little intro to blockchain. So considering how Bitcoin was created, at first, let me just introduce why blockchain was created at the first thing. So information security is a subject which was very much in talks and research around 1980s, where they were trying to create create cryptographic solutions to solve the issues of double spending. So we want to create a decentralized ledger. A ledger is simply a book which keeps the record of all the transactions. So considering like you are a person who has a bank account and wants to send some money to your friend. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll just tell your bank that please send this much amount of money to my friend. Here are the details. So what does the bank do? The bank simply the bank doesn't like physically transfer the amount of money from your account to your friend's account. What it does is it decreases a particular number which is called the balance of your account and increases the balance of your friend's account. So at the end, it's a simple transaction which the bank is maintaining. So we can say that bank is simply keeping a book of records where we are simply checking how much balance each person has. If you want to send some money to some other person, your balance will decrease and that other guy's balance will increase. Yeah, as simple as that. So like I'll simply ask some questions whenever I explain something. So like you can just talk in the Web3 channel if you understand this. So like this way it will be much more like conversation rather than a seminar. Yeah. So do you guys understand how banks work? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So banks work in this similar way. They are doing this thing. They are keeping a book of records. that book of records is called the ledger. It's just a name. It's just a name, okay? It's not a very scientific, advanced word. It's a ledger, which is basically a book of records. Okay, so now this is how the financial system was working, but we see that this particular system has a flaw. What what are the flaws in this particular system? Well, we are trusting bank that they will do it correctly, and like they will keep our money safe, and yeah, like we are just trusting the bank that they'll everything the bank says is correct. Okay, so do you any of you guys know how banks make money from your accounts? Like just a yes or no would work. Giving loans. Yeah, Raghav answered it correctly. Loans. So what does the bank do? Suppose there are four people, A, B, C, D, and every four of those people have now deposited some amount of money into the banks. Yeah. Now the bank has money from four different people. What it will do is it will give loans to other people who are needy and like collect interest from them. And suppose you are someone who deposits money into a bank, you get some interest as well, but majority of the interest is taken by the banks. So banks at the end don't have their own money. They are simply taking money from the people who are depositing and giving them to the people who want the loans. As simple as it can be. So can we say like bank doesn't have their own funds? They are simply like being a medium for someone who wants to deposit and someone who wants a loan, and banks own that way. Now, um, now what will happen if the banks go bankrupt at one point? Okay, considering you are someone who deposited money in your account and bank gave that much amount of money to someone who needed a loan, but now you need to withdraw the money, but like bank doesn't have it now because bank has loaned it to someone else. Well, now you can't withdraw your money, well, because the bank doesn't even have money to give you. So we can say that banks are always in a state of bankruptcy. If they have enough funds, if they have enough liquidity, everything is good. But if they don't have enough money for you, like if you can't withdraw from your own account, like then what is even the point of keeping it in bank, right? It's your money, it should be free for you. You should be able to withdraw it whenever you want, but that's not what the case if you are keeping it in a bank. So that's what happened. This particular little story which I said is something which actually happened in 2008. In 2008, a very big financial crisis went out. You can just Google 2008 financial crisis and you'll see tons of articles on it. Okay. So tons and what happened was bank froze a lot of bank accounts, and people were not even able to withdraw their money from their own accounts. So yeah, there's someone who's saying bank earns money from our FD and long-term deposit. Yeah, why do they take long-term deposit? Because they want your money, and then it is for long-term. So bank will give that money to someone else, like it will loan it to someone else. Okay, so yeah, everyone who's asking questions, just keep it in the thread, and then I'll go answering the questions one by one later on. Cool. Like let me just like give a basics of blockchain about how Bitcoin was created, and then a lot of things will get clear for you. So get us Discord name. Yeah, you can just ask your questions in the thread. Okay. So yeah, where was I? Like so yeah, banks did went bankrupt in 2008, and people were not even able to withdraw their own money. So like that was the time when Bitcoin got created. So what does Bitcoin do? Bitcoin is a decentralized way to keep a secure ledger. What was ledger again? Ledger was uh, ledger was the book of records. Okay. So now we at the end, like when we want to send our friend some money, what we do is we tell the bank to please do the work and please send money from my account to his. Well, what if we remove the bank? What if we, as all the people on the earth, keep a book of ledger which is same for everyone? Okay, So we don't trust the bank now. We simply say that bye bye bank, we don't need you anymore. What we will do is we'll keep the ledger and we'll keep it secure. Now, keeping a secured and decentralized ledger was something which is very tough, as a lot of things need to be safe, right? A lot of like we shouldn't allow people to spend money which they don't even have. Like now, we are the ones who are keeping the book of ledger secure, right? Now, how do we get the security? And now that's the thing which I'll answer within a couple of minutes, and that I guess answers a lot of your questions as well. So cryptography is simply using mathematics to solve these problems. Cryptography is not something very rocket science type of thing. It is a very simple thing. You use hash functions for daily things. Majority of you might be coders who use hash maps in your interview problems, yeah, and majority of you use Git as well. It's a version control system. Git uses hash functions under the hood to keep your commits correctly. So whenever you make a commit, it is storing a hash. So now the question is, how do we keep a ledger which is secured? Okay. So now the answer is cryptography. And what we do is we use some hash functions and some algorithms through which we'll keep the ledger safe. What are the algorithms, you ask? The algorithm to keep the ledger book secure is called the consensus algorithm. There are multiple consensus algorithms which in and some of them are proof of work, proof of stake, and proof of history. Okay. So Bitcoin works on proof of work. So let us talk about proof of work first. Okay. So what does proof of work do? We in the Bitcoin network, there are two types of people. One is a node and one is called a miner. Okay. So a node is someone who keeps a copy of all the transactions. Like it is basically just keeping the ledger. It is keeping the ledger from the starting of Bitcoin till now. Okay, so like Bitcoin network started around 2009 around, and a node is someone who keeps the record, all the transactions which ever happened from 2009 to till date. Okay, so a node is a computer which keeps this copy. Okay, and the copy is kept within blocks. So if you're someone who knows linked list, so blockchain is at the end a linked list type of data structure, which you can understand that way. So in each and every block, we keep some transactions and then we link it to the next block. And the first block which was ever created was called the Genesis block. And then we kept on adding blocks of transaction, and then it became a big blockchain. Okay, so that's how the things went. And now there are two questions: who keeps the records? The answer is nodes. And how do new blocks added? How do the new blocks get added? How do the new transactions get added? So the responsibility of adding new blocks is for miners. Okay, so whenever a transaction happens, suppose I am sending bitcoins to Arnav, let's say. Okay, so what will happen is I'll make a transaction, I'll send it via the Bitcoin network, and what will happen is I'll send it to one of the nodes, and that one particular node.
All right, taking a small break here. Harsh muted himself, but we would request you guys to like share the stage right now with your friends and share value, so that share it on your socials as well. If you tag us, we might reshare your story. So get more people on here. Some really valuable insights on blockchain by Harsh from Blocktrain. And all the questions, again, if you have come in for the first time, all the questions are being asked in the thread we have created for Web3 Masterclass. That's where all your doubts, all your questions go to. We have a Web3 channel where all the other chats are going on, right? So if you have any insights, you can put it there. All right, not in
Yeah.
the Nomad channel we have, in the Web3 channel we have, right? If you have any other doubts, you can DM me right now and I can help you out. But Harsh, you can continue. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So where was I? Like okay. Fine. So I'm sending some bitcoins to her now. So what I'll do is I'll just make the transaction, and that transaction will be sent to one of the nodes. The node is the one which are keeping the ledger, and one node is connected to some other nodes. Some other nodes are connected to some more nodes, and this way the complete network has been formed. Okay. So if you send a transaction to one of the nodes, the node will send it further. It works like a gossip algorithm. Like one nodes will tell all the nodes it is connected with, all the other nodes will send to their connections, and similarly, as a gossip spreads, the transaction will get spread as well all across the network. And if everyone on the network accepts that this transaction is legit, we keep it in a pool of unconfirmed transactions. Okay. So did you guys understand like what a node is and like how the transaction gets sent? Like can you just like type yes and no, something like that? Yeah. So yeah. If a transaction gets sent to all the nodes, and the what do the nodes do? The nodes will check if the transaction is legit. So suppose if I am someone who holds 10 bitcoins, I don't. Okay, I don't. But like consider if I'm having 10 bitcoins, the node knows that. Uh, if I have one, because the nodes are keeping the complete ledger, right? They know the exact balance of everything which I own, and they'll know that if this particular person can make this transaction of sending 2 bitcoins. Okay, there are some people who are asking, can you come once? Like could you repeat what particular question did you didn't understand, like what particular thing you didn't understand? Yeah. Karthik, I can you just like ask like the leisure part, the ledger, it's called the ledger, the ledger. Okay. So the ledger is a book of every transaction ever occurred on any network. Like it can be Bitcoin, it can be anything. Ledger is basically a book which keeps all the transactions. Okay. So let me just like if you didn't understand, like you can just add it in the thread and I'll just answer it later on. Okay. Um yeah, so I'll go forward. So we have something called mempool, where all the unconfirmed transactions go. And yeah, Shubham, we can say it's like a database. Okay. So there are two types of things in node, two types of people in the network. There are nodes and there are miners. So I explained what the nodes do. So the nodes are someone who take new transactions and then they check if the transaction is valid or not. Okay. And how do they check if it's valid? They'll just check each and every transaction which ever happened and just check if this particular transaction can happen. If you are someone who owns 100 rupees, you can send 50 rupees to someone else. But if you are someone who doesn't own 100 rupees, you just own 20 rupees, you can't send someone 50 rupees, right? And each and every wallet's transaction can be tracked on the via a node. Okay. So now I sent, if I have 10 bitcoins and I sent 5 to her now all the nodes know, yes, that Hirsch particular wallet can actually do this transaction and thus will accept it and will keep it in the mempool. The mempool is a memory pool, like it keeps all the unconfirmed transactions. Now the miners take the job. What do the miners do? The miners add new blocks to the blockchain. The blockchain is a ledger which is keeping all the transactions. Okay, now we need to add new transactions into it. The miners will solve, all the miners in the world will fight that who should add a new block. Why will they fight? Because the person who gets to add the new block gets rewarded in bitcoins. Okay. So if you need bitcoins as a miner, you need to fight against the complete world. Okay, so you're fighting with all the people who have very hi-fi, very sophisticated computers, and now if you're someone who's a miner, you are fighting against the complete Bitcoin network to add a new block. Okay, so what do? They solve a mathematical problem which is called finding the nonce. It's a mathematical problem which gets solved by hit and trial. So here the hash functions come in. It's a little technical. It's okay if you don't understand it. I'll explain it on an overview basis. But if you're not someone who wants to get into mining, it's fine. You can just like skip this particular part. Okay. So what do the miners do? Uh, Someone did say regarding like adding some zeros and stuff like that, like explain about hash functions and stuff. Okay. So what is a hash function? A hash function is a function which takes in an input and then uh, it gives an output. Okay, the output can be a string, it can be something, but like a good hash function is something which will be like a good hash function will give different outputs to different inputs. So if a hash function uh, like one of the simplest hash function is we can just like a SHA-256, which is used for git commits as well. So whenever you make a git commit and whenever you make a push, you can see like a particular string gets generated. It will say like, yeah, a particular string with some numbers, some characters will get the. Okay. So a hash function, you can just Google a hash function. That would be much better because like, yeah, it's something which is used on a daily basis by all the coders. It's just that you didn't know about it until now. Okay. So yeah, so now the hash functions, what they do is they take in an input and then they give some a random output. Okay, no two inputs will give the same output. That's the thing which we count on, because if there is a hash function which does this, it's called a bad hash function. We won't use it. Like it might have some problems. Okay, so we use multiple hash functions and like a very strong hash function in Bitcoin. So SHA-256 is a very strong one. It is used in SSH keys as well. I'm just and in GitHub as well. So yeah, we use these to generate hashes. Okay, so the miners need to solve a problem to add a new block. Okay, so the what is the problem? The problem is taking in the data of all the transactions and then generating and adding a number. A number is which is called nonce, a number which is used once. So every time you put in the data and some nonce, a new hash is generated. Okay, every time you put in the data and a nonce into the hash function, a new hash is generated. We need a hash which has like certain amount of zeros in front of the hash. Okay, so like it's a hit and trial method. The more computational power you have, the more chances are that you will actually be able to solve the thing. Okay, so the first person who calculates the nonce correctly by hit and trial gets to add the block. Okay, so yeah, so did you guys understand like how the block gets added? Like I'll just explain it a little more, and yeah, if you think like this was a little technical, it's much easier if you'll I'll just put in a link where you can actually play with the hash function. Yeah, so I put in a link which can be done. Okay, could you answer? Okay, can a hash of a block be hacked or decrypted? If yes, then in how much time can a specific block in blockchain be exposed without harming the whole blockchain? So a hash can be hacked, it can be decrypted, but now the other on it will be decrypt it can be hacked on just one of the peers. Like everyone in the Bitcoin network has a copy of the complete ledger. Okay, so you can be a malicious person, you can be someone who hacks one of the nodes, but you can't beat the complete network. That's the point of keeping it decentralized. Okay, so there is no one copy of the blockchain. Every node in the Bitcoin network has a copy of the blockchain. and even if you like decrypt, or even if you like change one of the blocks in your particular node, it won't, and then you will be removed from the network because now you are a bad person. Okay, in Bitcoin network, the security is given by incentivizing. So the miners get rewarded for adding new blocks, and everyone, and like they get paid in millions each day just to keep the network secure. If you are someone who doesn't want to keep the network secure, we'll kick you out. That's the algorithm. If okay, so yeah, permissionless, transparent yet secure. Yes. If everyone has a copy of the block, then isn't this a privacy issue? Then that's the beauty of it. You just know the wallet addresses of people. You don't know that who is the owner of this wallet. Consider like you have a bank account. Okay, it has some account number. If I give someone this account number, they'll be able to trace you via the bank. Like if I have your bank account number, I can check out who the owner is. Okay, but on Bitcoin, we can't figure out who does the wallet belong to unless you publicly say that this wallet belongs to me. Okay, so every wallet address is basically acting like an email ID. So how does the email ID work? Like you just have your friend's email ID, you'll just write a mail and the mail goes to him. Same way happens in the Bitcoin address. Like you just need someone's wallet address and you can just send him the money. So everyone's wallet address is different, and you can, and one person can have multiple wallets as well. Okay, so this way, if you are someone who has hundreds of wallets, there is no freaking way I can trace you. If you use one particular wallet for one transaction, then another wallet for another transaction, this way your privacy is secured. If a person can even have thousands of wallet addresses and we won't know. Okay, so that's a way to keep privacy. If you'll go on mempool.space, it's a website where you can view the complete Bitcoin blockchain from the start to the end. Okay, you can try checking all the transactions in each block. Try finding the person who made the transaction. You won't be able to, because like you can't trace someone from their wallet addresses. Okay, so I just sent in the link of the website, and like you can just go in there and it will say like which block is we are on currently, which block is getting added, and like how is the blockchain proceeding and stuff. If you have some wallet address, you can just like keep it in the search bar and you'll be able to find it. Cool. Won't it increase illegal funding? So we are someone who need to we are trying to fix the money. Okay, we are trying to fix the currency, and whatever the currency is used for, that's nothing, like that's none of your business, to be honest. We are trying, and like Bitcoin does get used for illegal funding, but a very small percent of it gets used. And like I can't say like there are no crimes happening or anything, but yeah, it is also a lifesaver as well. So it depends. Every tool can be used. Even a hammer can be used to like put in a nail. A hammer can be used to kill someone as well. So yeah, Bitcoin is someone which is used for like fixing the money. People are saying like if it can be legalized, it may happen at a large scale. Dude, you should just like understand and learn about how the 2008 security went, how people get frozen. We don't want someone to control our money. If someone is controlling our money, uh, they they might use it for them as well. You should check out the inflation rates of US dollar, which just came in like a couple days ago. Why did that happen? Because the government printed a lot of money. Why did they print a lot of money? Because they wanted to. Again, so inflation is something which is beaten by Bitcoin. Okay, there can be only 21 million Bitcoins overall. Okay, and there won't be more than them. It is written in the code and it can't be changed. Currently, 19 million Bitcoins have been mined, the next 2 million bitcoins will be mined over a term period of 100 years. So it is expected by 2140th year, 2140, will have 21 million bitcoins in circulation. Cool. So like that's how the blockchain works. That's how the miners add in new blocks, and that's how things go on. Now came in the game changer Ethereum, which allowed to code as well. Like you can code in a language named Solidity, and you can use the code to uh, like basically now the code is something which is public. Now the code is something which works as a vending machine. Okay, just a quick question. Yeah, Divya said 8.5% inflation rate. Yeah. Um, yeah. So US dollar is something which we consider runs the world, right? US dollar is the most popular currency in the world. Now that particular currency is having an 8.5% inflation rate. Why? Because the government controls it, dude. Because the government controls it. Okay. And that's the only reason why we need a decentralized thing. But in Bitcoin terms, we never consider inflation because like we can't print more money. If you are someone who wants Bitcoin, you need to work for it, and then you can use them. So yeah, even in India, it was like 7% inflation. The reports came in like yesterday, I guess. So yeah, and even in some countries it's even worse. The inflation rate has gone up to like 54% as well. So like those governments didn't took care. You should just read about what Sri Lanka did with their money, and you'll understand why Bitcoin is not legalized, like why Bitcoin is decentralized. Yeah, I guess that answers a lot of question. So yeah, if you guys understand much more about Bitcoin, just say a yes, and then we'll go to Ethereum, and then we can like move on to Web3 questions. Yeah. Go. Um. So yeah. So now you do understand about how things are in Bitcoin, and yeah, in Ethereum, what does it happen? It works up. It's something which is also working on proof of work, but it is now getting later shifted to proof of stake algorithm. We don't need to know that, it's fine. But in Ethereum, you can now code as well. You can keep these are simple programs. Whatever you program. Okay, so a very simple question. Can you please explain why miners fight? Okay, so the miners fight because they want to add a new block. The person who adds a new block gets rewarded in Bitcoin. So the person who that's how new Bitcoins are created. So every block gives some rewards to the person who mined it. So like that's why the miners fight. Okay, and this is how new bitcoins are mined. Like every block new bitcoins are mined, and like right now the reward is around like 2 bitcoins, I guess 2.5 bitcoins or something. It decreases, like now it is 2.5. After 4 years it will be 1.25. It will get half, and after 1.25 bitcoins it will get half even more. So this way a complete graph is formed. So like we have currently 19 million bitcoins in circulation, and then will in 100 years we'll have 21 million. So yeah, so miners fight for the reward. Okay, so now in Ethereum, all the you can now code, and now you can create your own programs. These are simple programs which you do, like anything which you have done in other languages can be done in Solidity. So okay, currently it's 6.25 BTC reward. Okay, thank you, Ritesh. So yeah, after 4 years it gets decreased, and yeah. Uh, when the Devya asked when the nonce is found, a new block is added. Yeah, the first person to find the nonce adds the new block. The first person in the complete world. So on an average, every 10 minutes a block gets added, and the problem difficulty level also increases and decreases as per the amount of, like at the rate of how blocks are added. So like if five if like if 3 to 4 blocks get added in like 20 or 30 minutes, the difficulty will increase, so that we maintain the average of 10 minutes. Yeah. So can we swoop in at the last in mining and get the reward? So yeah, like yeah. So the person who does the mining, like you can just like refer it back from the YouTube. I won't be able to like repeat it again. I got a few things to cover up. So yeah, you can just check it out later. Cool. So in Ethereum, what happens is you can now create programs on chain, and now these programs act as vending machines. So how does a vending machine work? You go to a vending machine, you see what it is in there, like through the glass you can see, right? And then you add in some money, and then you take whatever packet you want or anything. Okay. So that's how exactly how the smart contracts work. So the programs which are coded on Ethereum are called smart contracts. Those are simple, like it's a simple program. If you have written a hello world in C++, you can write a hello world in Solidity as well. If you are someone who knows JavaScript, you can learn Solidity within a couple of hours. Like the syntax is all you need to learn about. There are multiple tutorials out there, and I am personally creating some of the Solidity tutorials in Hindi on Blocktrain, so you can either check them out or you can just like Google Solidity tutorials. Some of the good channels are DAP University, Morales, Eat the Blocks, and like these are the top three channels which have a lot of good content if you wanna code, if you wanna learn how to code in blockchain. So yeah, like in Solidity, you can code things, and those will be called smart contracts. So smart contracts help that out, and yeah, like on these now the only difference smart contracts have other than like what a normal program is that now every line of code you write is dealing with money. Okay, so I have created some of the projects which generated a revenue of around $100,000. So now whenever you write a Solidity code, you need to be extra careful, because one single mistake, one simple error, and these this much amount of money can go in waste. Okay. So yeah, like if you know, a lot of scams happen, a lot of things get hacked. Like the recent hacks was of a $600 million hack, in which a game which was created on blockchain got hacked. Okay. So like, and the hacker was simply able to like take it in, and like we can't trace him back. Like we know where the funds went, but now we need to trace him. Like it will be a very big struggle for the people to find it out. But yeah, like whenever you are adding a Solidity code which will go in production, you need to be extra careful. So a lot of testing needs to be done before you go it in production. If you have someone who's working on pet projects or like simple things, that's fine, that's okay. Like there you can like slack off the security. So yeah. And so Ethereum has some troubles as well. Like Ethereum has a very small less transaction speed. It has a transaction rate speed of around like 30 transactions per second. So considering we can create applications on Ethereum, I don't want to wait 30 seconds or like the confirmation speed on Ethereum is around 5 minutes approximately. So I don't want to wait to post. Like if you are considering creating a social media on blockchain, I won't wait for 5 minutes to simply post a tweet or something, right? So that's why Ethereum needs to be scaled, and that's where Polygon comes in. So yeah, like Polygon is a layer 2 solution created on Ethereum, which solves a lot of problems which Ethereum had. It increases the transaction speed, it makes the transaction fees less, and a lot of things. So yeah, like and then there are multiple chains which try to solve a lot of problems that Bitcoin had, that Ethereum had, and each and every chain out there has their own ecosystem. each and every um, each and every chain has their own pros and cons, so you should study multiple chains, and then you can understand about how these things work. There's a question like, what is the confirmation you are talking about? Yeah. So like considering you are someone who sent some bitcoins to some other person, that transaction got added in the block, but for getting it confirmed we need to add 6 more blocks into the chain. So if your transaction is added in a block and it gets added in the Bitcoin blockchain, if 6 more blocks follow it, then your transaction is confirmed. So for 6 more blocks to get added, we'll need to wait around an hour. Okay. So in Bitcoin, it takes an hour to confirm your transaction. In Ethereum, it takes around 5 minutes, because like it has a different working algorithm, like it checks things differently. Then there is this one cool chain, Solana, where I'm working at currently. I'm working at Solana Labs, and yeah, and it is something which is even faster than Ethereum and faster than Polygon. It is the fastest chain out there, and it is the best chain if you consider transaction wise and transaction fees wise currently. But as I said, each and every blockchain has their own flaws. Each and every blockchain has problems and some good points as well. So you need to learn a lot about whatever chain you'll be working upon, and then you can choose which chain is something which you would like to do. So yeah, that's well, like let's open the floor for the questions, I guess, and then yeah, like that's more than enough for you to guys get started. I would say there's a very cool YouTube channel, the DAP University, where a much better explanation than me will be here. So like yeah, like you can use that channel to learn Solidity as well. I'll just answer this one question, like what are the tech stacks you should know if you are someone who needs to get in Web3? So if you are someone who knows JavaScript, you are already ahead of a lot of people. You'll need to learn Solidity, which takes in like a couple of hours to learn the basics, and then you can start creating your projects. And then as the time goes on, you'll become better at it. So yeah, let's now just ask the questions, and then I'll make it quick. Yeah, I know, that's good. You there?
Yes, Harsh, I'm there. Listening in very carefully, your insights were pretty valuable, and those who came in for the first time listening in and trying to get to know Web3 would have got a lot of value from today's session. We open for questions now. If you have any questions, we can read it from the Web3 Masterclass thread. We have a lot of questions lined up there, so you can start.
I'll start. Okay. So in the thread, I'm answering what is the puzzle the miners solve. I answered the question. It's a simple hit and trial thing, to be honest. And the only it is called proof of work because like you are someone who fought against the complete world and like used a lot of electricity, used a lot of computational power to solve that question, right? So that's why we trust you that you will be adding correct transactions. Like that's why we as Bitcoin network will accept you, and that's how the block gets added. Yeah, so that answers Divya's question. Pratik asked, like, I've worked with one NFT project for a month as an intern. I have some experience and a great passion for Web3. That's awesome. So which are the best platform to find opportunities and how to find them? When I apply to gigs, people say you need to show a portfolio or should be very. I don't think so. You should be very well experienced in Web3 because like whatever things which are in Web3 didn't existed 3 years ago. Okay. So if you are someone who just, I would say you can participate in a lot of hackathons happening. There's a new hackathon every other day in Web3. And like you can use websites like Devfolio and things where you can start creating your pet projects. So like with each and every project, you learn something new. If it goes well, that you might even win the hackathon and like get prizes that way. But if you are someone who wants to do remote work, there are a lot of websites on which you can find remote work and gigs. Like you can check out Super Team bounties. So Super Team bounties have this thing where you don't need to like have a good portfolio. You just need to do the gig. If they like it, and they'll they'll give you the rewards. And this is a very big misconception that only developers can get into Web3. We have a lot of non-tech, more than like enough non-tech roles as well. In Web3, people will even pay you if you can simply be a Discord manager. People will pay you if you are a content writer. People will pay you if you are someone who's good at UI UX designs. Okay. So all these jobs are pretty cool. It doesn't need, you don't need to have tech knowledge. You can just like study about multiple ecosystems and write about those things, and people are ready to pay for it. Like that's the amount of non-technical roles there are. Okay, people are ready to pay like $1,500 for managing a Discord server for a month, and there are multiple jobs like these. So like lot of non-tech roles are there. You just need to search. You can follow Super Team, which is a very cool organization which has a lot of bounties for content writers, for developers, for everyone. And we need a lot of UI UX designers as well. So if you're good at UI UX design, like even I would like to work with you. And yeah, so that's a lot. You can find the gigs very easily. Normally I find my gigs by posting a lot on LinkedIn about my projects. I build a lot of projects in hackathons, and if you're someone who's very active on LinkedIn, on Twitter, you'll get gigs. Like the gigs will come to you. You don't need to go to them. Okay, Pratik, that answers your question. And hello, sir. I'm cybersecurity student. Can you explain how to store logs in blockchain? You can simply make a transaction into the blockchain, and then you can add stuff there. There is a very, if you're someone who's belonging from cybersecurity, there's the most highest paying job in blockchain is currently the smart contract auditing. Like people will pay you just to like break the smart contract. Okay, so if you're someone who's from a cybersecurity background, I would recommend you to learn about smart contract auditing. Like there was a very big problem in one particular Polygon project, and a person found about the problem within a few days, within a few hours of day, and that person got a bounty of $2 million just because, yeah, it was such a big problem, and like people were Polygon paid $2 million just for like one bounty. So yeah, if you are someone from cybersecurity, please study like smart contract auditing, and then it's a pretty cool job profile you can have. Can you explain about hash functions? Does it necessarily has to be zeros at the start? Why or why not? I guess I answered it. The zeros are something which do change often. Like at first, the Bitcoin network was very weak. Like at first, not a lot of miners were there. So if there are 100 miners, you are just competing with 99 of them. But right now, the computational power which is in the Bitcoin network is equivalent to 5 times of Google servers. So yeah, like if you want to beat the Bitcoin network, like you can't like hack the Bitcoin network as of now. You'll need 5 times the servers Google has right now, and good luck getting that many servers. Yeah. Why there are so many Web3 projects with the same idea doing the same thing? Can you tell how to find a crypto project and get join that crypto or Web3 project as a community manager? So you can start joining multiple Discords. A lot of Discord is one of the coolest place where you can find a lot of Web3 projects. A lot of Web3 projects have the same idea because like everyone wants to create their own thing. Web3 gives you freedom of doing a lot of things. Yeah, like if you wanted to create a new stock market, you'll need to go through a lot of legalizations. But right now I can just code a dex, a decentralized exchange, where people can come in and start trading crypto like right away. Okay, so Web3 gives you this power, it gives you this freedom, and that's why it's like anyone can start with a project, and anyone can be big. Like that's why you will see so many Web3 projects with the same idea. I just wanted to know if there is any method to do this zero knowledge proof in blockchain to validate a portfolio of work, basically validating things on chain. Yeah, like I'm not so sure if I get the question correctly, but like as I said, like you can check everything on Explorer websites. You can just like Google Bitcoin Explorer or Ethereum Web Explorer, and then you can check each and every transaction if it actually happened or not. Any projects can be built on any blockchain, or is it something to be specific? So a lot of projects will have some recommendations, some requirements. Like if you're creating a social media, you need a blockchain which does fast transactions. If you're creating a bank on chain, you are someone uh, you'll need a lot of security. So like uh, so yeah, like basically each and every blockchain has some of the perks, and this way uh, you can choose a like you can choose what blockchain you want. Like it depends upon what type of project you are building. Okay. And if you're someone who wants to get started with building blockchain projects, you should follow Morales Web3. Morales Web3 is a channel which has created a Netflix clone on chain. So yeah, like they are way too crazy. Like they upload end to end coding tutorials. So if you're someone who just follows those tutorials, that will be more than enough. Like you can simply learn via that. Uh, According to you, which network or project has best future view? I consider each and every blockchain have like they have tremendous talent. They have a lot of good things. There are very well, not each and every chain will survive the test of time. Some of the blockchains which are currently right now will fail because like only the tough ones, only the good ones will survive. And like each and every engineer who are working, like each and every core engineer who are working in these ecosystems, um, are like trying to make the chains the best. But I don't think so. Like there will be one chain which will dominate all of them. I consider the future is multi-chain because like I have worked with Bitcoin core engineers, I have worked with Solana core engineers now, and like everyone is just trying to build a better future for the complete globe, and like that's what they care about. So like one thing which I learned from working at Bitcoin core was like we never care about like how the crypto is doing on like the money side. Like a lot of people ask me like what are the best investment opportunities, and I'm like, dude, I'm a developer, I never care about what is the price of Bitcoin. I'm someone who believes in this technology, and I just know that if I code well, if I put in my efforts, and if I make the technology good, the prices will go up. So like as a developer, you shouldn't really consider like the prices, the crypto, whatever, like the whatever the trading goes on. Not someone who's interested. You will just, if you'll just go in the Indian YouTube space, if you just write crypto, every channel is talking about trading. But as a developer, you should really not care about trading. You are someone who wants to build stuff, who wants to build better things. uh, so yeah, according to you, okay, so just for knowing in 10 years, yeah, Abhishek, I guess we'll need to wait which blockchains will survive, which will not. No one can predict the future. It will be a roller coaster ride for sure, but yeah, we'll be enjoying it. So there's a question: should I start with Ethereum or Solana as a beginner developer? So uh, Ethereum uses Solidity, and a lot of other blockchains uses Solidity as well. So Solidity is easier to learn than Rust. Yeah, like Rust is something which is used in Solana. So like Rust is it's the favorite language since like 6 years, but like it has a steep learning curve. In Solidity, you'll be able to grab it much quickly if you are someone who has a JavaScript background. So you can start with Ethereum, then you can move on to Solana, learn about multiple blockchains. I currently have worked with like 6 different blockchains, and it has been fun working on every of them. So yeah, as a beginner, you can start with Ethereum and then later move on. Like don't stick to one chain, like explore multiple chains as well. That's what I will say. So tech pay technology future, I'm not so sure what that is. And your opinion on Bedgurt, I really don't know what Bedgurt is. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Like I myself, I don't consider, I have just worked in here since on the best technologies which are like, but still for even for me who has like spent an year in this development thingy, is not someone like I would say I haven't even scratched a lot of things in the Web3 world. Like there's so much to learn. Each day I need to read multiple articles to keep myself updated. So yeah, learning is something which will happen every day. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? You can just like ask and then we can. How's Build Space site for learning? Build Space is pretty cool. They have a lot of tutorials. If you follow those tutorials, you'll be able to build good projects. Yeah, like it works very well. So yeah.
All right. If anybody has a question to ask by voice and you're feeling a bit difficult framing it in text, you can request to speak on the Discord stages, and I can get you up here, and then you can ask it live to Harsh. So you can just put out a request to join the stage, and I'll be able to get you on here.
By the way, like if you'll just click on my profile, you'll be able to like connect. You'll be able to see a bio link of mine, and then you can connect me on various socials, and we can take the discussion there as well. So yeah. For present time, which project is underdog for learning? Which has scope in your field? I don't think so. I understand your question, Abhishek. But like, you can start by creating your own coin on a chain. Like that is a very simple project, and then you can later build on bigger projects. Like just follow this. I'll just like link this. I guess Masterclass Web3 YouTube channel. Here's something where you'll be able to see a lot of tutorials on projects. So after you're done like learning JavaScript, learning Solidity, you can start using these tutorials. Majority of the tech stacks which get used in blockchain development are React.js, Node.js, Next.js, like anything, any front end plus a database plus a blockchain. So the blockchain will act as a database. You can have a backend service if you require. I guess that's all, or no?
Yes, this was a really informative session. We would like to thank Harsh for coming through and answering questions. I totally believe that Harsh has a lot of sessions in him in the near future as well. And he has a lot of insights to get in, right? This was just the first session, just to get you started, just to get people warmed up. And we will for sure get him and Aryan. Aryan is missing out today, but we'll get both of them for the next session as well pretty soon. Till then, you can check them in at blocktrain.info. That's their website. And you can head on there, learn about Web3 in, I think, 15 days. That's what is mentioned. And yes, all right. That's 15 days of Web3. You can head on there, learn, and get more insights. All right. Thank you so much, Harsh. You can people can share their feedback in the Web3 channel. Maybe thank Harsh as well for coming through and giving insights on blockchain. Till then, we will take a leave. Thank you so much, Harsh, again. And if you still have any other questions, you can directly connect with Harsh, or you can put them in the Web3 channel. We have Dhruvraj who will be answering them when Harsh is not around from BlueLearn's server. And yes, thank you so much, Harsh, for coming through. We'll end the stage now. And Yash, if you're listening in, we can go off live as well. And thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. We'll see you all in the next Web3 session. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.